Tamika Isaac Devine, work-life integration strategist, leadership mentor, and founder of the Possibilities Institute, which is a peak performance coaching, consulting, and public speaking firm that helps women leaders just like you and moms to help them discover their leadership possibility, maximize their potential, and live a life that leaves a legacy. Now you might be asking yourself, Tamika, what is a work-life integration strategist? Well, I am a certified personal and executive coach, and I focus my practice on working with women leaders and moms with work-life integration strategies and tools to help them live the life that they were designed to live. Now, what qualifies me to be a work-life integration strategist? Well, I am a busy working mom, but a very high-achieving professional woman just like you. And over the years, I have developed tips and strategies that have helped me live a divine life. I am a wife and a mom, but in addition to those things, I'm a practicing attorney with my own law firm. I'm an elected official. I was elected as a member of the Columbia, South Carolina City Council in 2001. And when I was elected, I was the first African American female elected to this position, as well as the youngest person at that time ever elected to City Council. Now, after 16 years of serving, I'm currently serving as the Mayor Pro Tem, and I'm still the youngest person on our council. In addition to those hats, I'm an entrepreneur. I run 2 very successful businesses with my husband, my life partner. As well as that, I am a public speaker, I am a best-selling author, and again, I'm a certified professional and executive coach. So you can tell I wear many, many hats. But the biggest role and responsibility, and the one that really warms my life and my heart, is being a wife and a mom. And just so many times, we as women have been taught that to be a really good wife and mom, we have to forego some of our career goals and aspirations. And I have never, ever prescribed to that kind of thought. And so through that, I wanted to work with women just like me who have been told for many, many years that you have to make choices and sacrifices in your career if you want to be a mom, or you might not be able to have the home life and the personal life that you want if you have very high achieving professional goals. And so that is what my practice focuses on. So today I want to start first with explaining to you what is work-life integration, and most importantly, what it is not. So I think about work-life integration, and for me, my definition of work-life integration is living your life at its fullest. Living, as people say, hashtag your best life. You can live your best life and not sacrifice professional goals and aspirations, career choices. You can do multiple things like me, have multiple businesses, and still be a very active wife, mom, sister, daughter, and be really happy and excel at doing it all. And so work-life integration, what it is figuring out a way to integrate your life and live the life and using tips and strategies to help you live your best life in all those aspects. Being true to yourself and being true to what's important to you, and not giving up on some of those things that are important to you because you feel like you can't do it all and do it all in excellence. What work-life integration is not is that elusive work-life balance that people always talk about, or trying to say, oh yeah, I do work-life integration. I am a master multitasker. I may take my kids to a soccer game, but while they're at the game, I'm not enjoying the game. I'm not talking to the other parents. I'm not watching the great goals that my kids are making because I'm doing a conference call, or I'm responding to emails, or I'm dealing with something else. That's not work-life integration. Work-life integration is figuring out how you can do things that support you. What works for me may not work for you, and vice versa. And so what it is understanding what your goals are, what your priorities are, and designing your life that supports those goals and strategies that will help you achieve what you really want. So what I really want to talk about first is how we really got to where we are. And a lot of my clients feel like, okay, I'm just not doing it right, or, this isn't working for me. And they're kind of blaming themselves. But what I want to tell you is, it is not anything that you have done. It is really society. Society has taught us for many, many years that we have this elusive goal of being the perfect woman. You know, what the perfect woman is, what the perfect mom is, and how that is. And if you think about how it's evolved over time, it really has evolved, but it's still not where it needs to be. So y'all remember, I'm gonna take you back. If you're my age or older, you remember June Cleaver back in the days. You know, June Cleaver, the perfect wife and mom who catered to her children and catered to her husband, didn't work outside the home, always had dinner ready when people got home, always had the house immaculate, and never seemed to stress over anything. And so even we think about June Cleaver, even if you move on to Florida Evans, and that really gets me, when you think about the what society has always tried to show us and taught us. You got Florida Evans, you got this family of 5 living in a 2-bedroom apartment, struggling all the time to make ends meet. But still, Florida didn't work outside the home. And so sometimes when they really needed a buck or two, she might have taken an extra job. Or when James Evans died, then she actually worked outside the home. But before then, they were struggling on a one-parent household, one-salary household. And even though they really could have done more if she worked outside the home, what society was trying to show us and teach us is to be a good wife and mom, you need to be home. So, you know, that is where we started off. But then, of course, you had the feminist movement, and we moved on from there. And then, you know, we had that Anjali woman. Y'all remember the Anjali woman? You know, I can bring home the bacon, I can fry it up in the pan, and then never let my husband forget he's a man. You know, it cracks me up when I hear it now. But that was like the whole, you know, wow, we can do it all. We can work outside the home and make money, but we still can be, you know, cook, and then we still can, you know, satisfy our man and whatever else they were trying to show us. And so that was kind of the evolution of, from back in the day, from June Cleaver and Florida Evans to the Anjali woman. But still, that's really not what we really wanted. And then, you know, going back to my favorite, you know, and what really inspired me as a young woman, looking and wanting to be an attorney particularly, is then we had Claire Huxtable. You know, we had the beautiful, brilliant practicing attorney who was a partner in her law firm. She was mom, she was married to a doctor, they had this great house, they had these great kids, and then she had that sassy attitude that she can have that clap back on somebody and still look classy. So we all love Claire Huxtable. But she was the first person in society tried to show us that, you know, yes, we can have a high-achieving professional job with titles and accolades, but still be a great wife and a mom. But still, what we saw with Claire Huxtable was the fact that everything kind of centered around the family. And although you saw certain things, her making partner in the law firm and other things, you didn't see, you know, those big career goals and doing multiple things in Claire Huxtable. And so although she was a great epitome of what we look at, we as women today, our standards are so far beyond that. You know, we don't typically have one job and happy with that one job and don't do anything else. A lot of us have several things. Whether we have our side hustle or we are running multiple businesses, we're CEO of our company, we're running households, we're doing a lot of things. And so when we think about, you know, what is on us as professional women, where is our support? Where are the things in society, in our communities, that recognize that you can be a jam-up professional woman and be true to yourself and have those desires to be the wife and the mom that you want to be? And so for me, it is about understanding what is right for you, and then figuring out the different tips and strategies that can support you as that successful woman as you are looking for what works for you and what will get you where you need to be. So now I want to share with you guys a couple of my favorite work-life integration strategies. As I told you guys, I am doing a lot all the time. You know, I'm a practicing attorney with my own law firm. And so as the owner and manager of my own law firm, not only am I practicing law, but I'm HR director, I'm IT director, I'm housekeeper and custodian. I do all of it in my law firm. In addition to the law firm, as I mentioned, I am an elected member of Columbia City Council, currently serving as Mayor Pro Tem. So that means I got to go out in the community and do things. I've got to preside over council meetings. I've got to implement policies for the city of Columbia that makes things and makes life better for the constituents that I serve. In addition to that, I am a best-selling author. I just released my second book, and that book is called Think Like a CEO, Act Like a Mom, The Pursuit of Work-Life Integration. And what I try to share with that book is that you can be the CEO of your company and your life, and be the loving, caring mom, making, chaperoning trips to the field trips, and making lunches with cute little notes in it. You can do all that if you want to do that. In addition to being a best-selling author, I am a public speaker, and I speak throughout this country at different conferences and churches and colleges, and I've enjoyed doing that for the last 10 to 15 years. And then in addition to all those things, like I mentioned, I'm an entrepreneur. My husband and I have two very successful businesses, The Possibilities Institute, this one where I do my public speaking, coaching, and consulting, and we work on peak performance with our clients to make sure that they're operating at their optimal and best level. And in addition to that, we have a real estate investment and property management firm. We own several houses throughout South Carolina, and some of them we buy, we rehab, and then we rent out to folks who really need some quality affordable housing. So I do a lot, but probably my favorite job is being mom. I have three amazing little ones. I have a 13-year-old, I have an 8-year-old, and I have an 18-month-old. And so it runs the gamut. So I'm a mom of a toddler and a teen. And so that keeps me really, really busy. And so I chaperone field trips. I make lunches. I'm the carpool mom. I'm doing all of that in my personal life as well. And then in addition to that, I gotta take time for self-care. I love my days at the spa. And I take my massages and my facials and have my girls' weekends and all that stuff. And just that quiet time that I have where I might just want to have a bubble bath and cuddle up with a good book. And so I make sure that self-care is top of my priorities as well. And so as you can tell from my life, I know that probably doesn't sound too dissimilar from what you have. You probably got a lot going on. As a successful woman who's attending this conference, I know that you are operating at your optimal level. But what I also know is that you probably struggle with work-life integration every day. You feel like you're being torn into so many different pieces and pulled in different places that you can't possibly do it all. Well, let me help you out with one secret. You're right. You can't do it all. But can you have it all? And I will tell you that you can. But it depends on what all is to you, what is important to you, and making sure that you are not using a litmus test from anyone else's life, but you're designing your best life. You're operating in a way that is perfect for you and your family, however your family looks. Whether you're a wife, whether you're a mom, whether you're a single parent, whether you're taking care of your aging parents, whether you're a sister, whether you're just the community mom that takes care of all the kids. You got a lot going on, and so however your family looks, you got to be true to what's important to you in your professional life, also in your personal life. So with that, I'm just going to share with you a couple tips and strategies that work for me as Tamika. Take or leave them, and you might want to modify them to what works for you. But these are things that I work with my clients. And one thing that I can tell you, in my coaching and consulting business, I have worked with CEOs, I have worked with pastors, I have worked with other elected females, I have worked with people who are running major corporations, people who are running cities, city managers and county managers. And through that, I have learned one thing, is that we all feel like we're falling short. Even if we're on the outside, we look like we got it all together. But what I try to do with my clients is to let them acknowledge where they are, figure out what works for them, and then start implementing things that keeps them from feeling guilty, overwhelmed, stressed, that they're falling short, and recognizing that ultimately, if you're happy, all the rest of it is going to come into play. So now I want to give you my top work-life integration strategies. I have a ton of them that I work with my clients on, but I'm just going to share with you my top 5. These are things that I think certainly if you implement them in a way that works and supports you, they will definitely help you, not just with your work-life integration journey, but actually relieving stress, relieving overwhelm, and helping you live the life that you are destined to live. So my very first work-life integration strategy that I'm going to share with you is understanding your why. What is the reason, the top reason that you do all that you do? So whether it is, what you do in your work life, having the family that you have, understanding why you do the things you do, you need to understand what or who is your why. You know the old saying, if your why is big enough, the how becomes easy. And that is certainly true. Now I'm going to share with you guys my why. It's very, very easy. Most people who know me, even if I don't say it, they know what my why is. My why is my family. It is my husband and my kids and my mom. They are my why. They are my everything. And so what I do is the reason that I do all that I do. So I'm going to share with you this way. So some people might say, okay, well, Tamika, that doesn't make sense. If your why was your kids, then why wouldn't you be a stay-at-home mom? And I think that is the way some people look at things. But no, my why is my kids. And so I have 2 daughters and a son. I want my kids, as they're growing up, they will see that their mom did not sacrifice what was important to me, my goals, my aspirations, my career, but that they saw that I was able to do all that stuff and excel in professional arena, as well as still be homeroom mom and all the stuff to them. I want them to grow up having a great childhood, but also seeing that mom knew that giving back to the community was important, that having a career was important, and none of those things I felt like that I could not do because of them. I have so many women tell me that I can't do something because I have small kids, or I have aging parents that I'm taking care of, or that I have this, and that is why I can't start my business, or that I can't go after that new promotion or do that new job. And that is just really not the reason why you should not be able to do something. That is the reason why you should be able to do it. Just think about it this way. If your kids grow up seeing you say no to things that would make you happy or that are important to you, then what are you teaching them? You might be telling them that they can be and do anything that they want, but you are showing them that they really can. So, the first strategy is understanding your why. If you understand your why and really know why you do what you do, then the how to get it done will be so much easier. My second tip and strategy for you is making sure that you have a calendar that supports your goals. So let me share with you a client situation and really a similar situation that I had. I get asked to do so many things, as I'm sure you are as well. You're asked to bake the cookies for the bake sale at school, or you might be asked to be on this committee at church and do this within your sorority or your community organization. And you've got so many things people are asking. And because you're a giver, because you are a high-achieving woman, and I know that we all have those hearts of gold, you are trying to figure out, well, it's for a good cause. It's for my church. It's for this nonprofit. It's for this. And you might say yes to doing stuff. And those things can fill your calendar to the point that you have no time for your family, no time to push forward in your professional goals, and no time for yourself. And so I want to stress to you how important it is that your calendar support your goals. And so if your goal is to start your new business, you need to look at your calendar and see daily tasks and activities and events that support ultimately that goal. So I will tell you a challenge that I give my clients all the time is take your calendar and understand if you have a goal, and part of that goal is you need to meet people outside your circle to help you get to that goal, then on your calendar you need to have events that help you network with people outside your circle. Doing the same old thing and being around the same old people ain't going to help you get any different results. So figure out how do you have a calendar that clearly supports your goals. My third tip of strategy to you is understanding how to schedule your time. And I know this sounds similar to the calendar that supports your goals, and it aligns with it, but it's different. Understand that you have to schedule. There's so many things that you could do in a day, but there's only so many hours in a day. So make sure that you are scheduling your time so that you can plan for the things that you need to do. I'm gonna tell you, we schedule our kids, we schedule other people out the wazoo. Actually there are books being written on the fact that we overschedule kids, which we shouldn't overschedule kids, we shouldn't overschedule ourselves. But we should schedule things so that we understand what's important. So if a goal for you is to work out, how are you going to work out if you don't make the time to do it? So many people will say, okay, yeah, I'm going to start working out this week. And then you get to work and you do certain things, and you get off work, you're either tired or you have a meeting and you have something else, and then the day has passed, the week has passed, the month has passed, and you haven't gone to the gym or haven't gone outside to walk or do whatever. And so one way that you can do that is making sure you're scheduling your time. So just like you would schedule that important meeting with a client or a boss, schedule your workout time. Schedule the time to go have lunch with your kids. Schedule the time to have date night with your husband. Schedule those things so that if they have a place on your calendar and that you schedule them out, you know you're going to get it done. So my fourth tip for you is hiring your weakness. I love this. I have a friend who says it's actually getting a wife. And she talks about how she read an article one time that there were a lot of important men, and basically they were saying that the reason they're able to do all the things they're doing is because they have a wife who does everything. And so we can do the same thing, but hire people who can actually help you get to what you need to do. So for instance, for me, I utilize meal prep services. I utilize having time. I utilize people who will come and help clean up the house or do my yard, of course. I have people who will take my kids to where they need to be. But I think about it this way. You might be saying, well, Tamika, that sounds well and good, but I don't have the money to do that. It's hard for me to hire this person and pay for this and pay for that. But I would challenge you to think you don't have the ability financially not to do it. So think about me. I'm an attorney. So in my practice, my billable rate is $200 an hour. As a personal and executive coach, I can bill as much as $500 an hour. And so I think about that money that I could be doing, getting paid for something, and then I think about the time that I spend in the grocery store. I could spend easily an hour a week, if not more, in a grocery store. So why not utilize a service like Shipt or Instacart that will go grocery shopping for you, deliver them, and then that time that you're not spending in the grocery store, you can spend along some of your other goals. So make sure you look at hiring your weakness. Look at the things that you've got to do and figure out a resource for you to get them done without you spending your own personal time. And then my fifth and final tip and strategy for you is understanding the important role that gratitude and grace play in your life. Gratitude. Yes, every day might not be perfect, but I'm going to tell you, every day is a blessing from God, and you need to be grateful for everything that you have. Be grateful for your wins and your successes, as well as your challenges and your disappointments, because those are the things that are going to motivate you. And then grace. Give yourself grace. You're not going to get everything on your to-do list done. You're not going to do everything perfectly. Truth be told, you might disappoint some people every now and then. But give yourself grace, because if you give yourself grace, tomorrow's a new day and you have another opportunity to get it done. So those are my 5 top tips and strategies for you. I would love to talk to you about my practice and how I can support you as a successful woman and help you with your work-life integration strategies, your leadership skills, and really getting to that next level. So if you want to learn more about me and my practice, and you want to have a complimentary call with me to talk about what your goals are and how I can support you in those and get you to the next level, go to my website at www.possibilitiesinstitute.com. Again, that's www.possibilitiesinstitute.com. You can also find me along all social media, Tamika Isaac Divine, and on Twitter and Instagram, it's @TI Divine. I hope you've enjoyed my tips and strategies, and I want to wish you a very successful and integrated work and life.
So welcome everyone to today's webinar. I'm so excited to be here to dialogue and conversate with you today. My name is Brandy Avery. I am the CEO of the Financial Power Network. And before I tell you a little bit about my background, first I just want to start by welcoming you today. I always feel like whenever I have an opportunity to talk to people who attend conferences or attend podcasts or webinars, I always feel like these type of individuals are ahead of the curve, because we know webinars and podcasts, these are technology-based platforms, technology-based mediums. So I'm really excited to be here and to be able to connect with you via a digital platform today. Digital platform, and if you've done anything with technology, you know that technology forces you to move at a very fast pace. And then also it forces you to move at a faster speed just in your business growth and your development. So I am super excited to have you here via webinar, via a digital platform today. And we're going to have a great conversation, a great discussion. And we're really going to talk about being self-made. And our topic of discussion is going to be how not to let your financial challenges dictate your future wealth possibilities. So again, my name is Brandy Avery. I am the CEO of the Financial Power Network. My company is a financial consulting firm and a financial marketing firm. And essentially what my purpose is and what my whole mission is to help to move the economy forward. So we're going to really get into financial services, and we're going to talk about wealth creation today and talk about things that may have happened in the past and how not to let those things dictate our potential of wealth and earning wealth in the future. So I do have a slideshow that I'm going to share with everyone today. I'm going to take a second to pull up a couple of slides so that you can follow along with me, and we'll jump right into today's presentation. A little bit about myself, Brandy Avery. So my background really essentially begins, and my background with money essentially begins at the age of 6 years old. That was my first experience with money. And whenever I'm talking to individuals, I always want to know what is your first experience with money? What was your first engagement with money? What's your relationship with money, and how do you feel about money? My background starts at the age of 6 years old. And I was a person in my family, we experienced poverty head on. We experienced poverty, and we also dealt with homelessness. So we survived poverty and we survived homelessness. I always talk about my address being in 1976 Blue Monte Carlo, and really just facing poverty and facing homelessness directly head on, and overcoming that with my sisters and my mother. I did some research on poverty, and there's a study done, and the study says that only 4% of people, 4% of individuals who's faced poverty, who's dealt with homelessness, comes out of that. So I am a person who had a very challenged background, and I'm a part of a percentage of people, a very small percentage of people, who was able to pull myself up, pull myself out of poverty, and to become successful. I decided that I wanted to launch my business and become a financial empowerment coach, a financial advisor, so that I can help other people who may have experienced a challenged background, people who may be currently experiencing financial difficulties, so that they can become financially secure and financially independent. A couple of things about myself. I am the author of the 4-Week Financial Power Plan, which is a financial curriculum designed to help people achieve and sustain financial independence. I'm also the executive producer of the 4-Week Financial Power Plan Live Masterclass. And I'm really excited because I do have a gift for you today for attending today's webinar. At the end of today's presentation, you'll have the opportunity to win a $200 coupon. So there's $200 straight coupon from my organization that you can use to take one of the master classes. My master classes are designed to help with a lot of different things in regards to money management. A lot of people who I work with, they want to build their credit score. They want to purchase a home or an investment. So that's my gift for you today. And I'll give a link at the end of this presentation so that you can access your gift and download your $200 coupon. You can see that I have a lot of work. I've done 13 years worth of work in the financial service industry. Not going to read everything to you, but you do have a copy of my bio right there. And you do have access to this presentation as well, where you can look at it any time to learn more about me and my organization, the Financial Power Network. So let's dive into it. Today we're going to talk about the 9 principles of wealth creation, because wealth creation, number one, it is possible. A lot of times when we get into the subject of wealth creation, when we talk about financial independence and financial security, it seems like something that's so far out of reach, but it is very possible. And there are some very basic principles, some very basic steps that you can implement into your world right now today so that you can get on the track, the journey, the trajectory of becoming financially free and accumulating wealth for yourself and your family. Number one, be intentional. This is one of the basic premises of any type of goal that you have. Anything that you set out to do, you want to be intentional. And when we say be intentional, we mean be intentional in regards to having action steps. Your actions and everything that you do should align you towards reaching that goal. So that means if your goal is to purchase your first home, you want to be intentional with that. That means that you want to make sure that your credit is in order. You want to make sure that you have a solid budget. You have a great accounting. You want to make sure that you are organized and do everything that you possibly can to be intentional so that you can reach that goal of purchasing your home. Actions, it's all about action steps. And if you're not actionable as far as your goals is concerned, if you're not intentional in your action steps, then it's going to be a longer journey for you to reach that goal. So you want to make sure that you are intentional and acting with intent. And that means your action steps are aligning you directly towards your goal. When you're intentional, you're not doing anything that's not going to help you achieve that goal. So that's number one. Everything that you do, meaning that your financial management, what you're doing on the weekend. If you're getting ready to purchase a home, or if you're trying to save money, that means your money management style is going to have to change, and you have to be intentional. Also, that's goal setting. 99% of successful people, successful wealthy people, and we're talking about your millionaires and your billionaires, these are goal setters. These individuals, they write their goals down, they speak life into their own world, they have affirmations that they follow, and they are very intentional with their action steps. And that's 99% of all successful people. And we're talking about the millionaires and the billionaires. It's about goal settings. It's about your actions. It's about adopting a methodology in your daily operational flow to make sure that you are obtaining your goals and doing everything that you can to obtain your goals. If you have a setback, it's completely okay to reset your goals. If it's not feasible, restructure your goals. That's the phenomenal thing about them being your goals. But the number one thing that you want to understand is you want to be intentional. And that's the number one principle of wealth creation is having a very strategic intent. Secondly, you want to pay yourself first. This is a old rule going all the way back as long as you can remember as far as financial freedom is concerned, but paying yourself first. The rule of thumb is 10% of your earnings. So if you are self-employed as a business owner, or if you are working for someone and you're earning wages, 10% of those wages they need to come back to you and your household. Think about the federal government. When you first get your paycheck, Uncle Sam and the nephews, they get their money first. They understand the wealth principle of pay yourself first very, very well, which is why they get their money before you get your money. You have to adopt that same policy into your money management style. You need to be a good steward of your finances and always take 10% off the top and pay yourself first. And that's every time you receive income coming into your household through either self-employment wages or through earned wages, 10% needs to go to you. You need to pay yourself first. And then that money then needs to in turn go into a liquid account, into an emergency fund, into an investment vehicle where you can learn how to compound that money and make that money grow. So it's very important to identify this wealth step, because paying yourself first is the key to wealth. You cannot succeed and you cannot build a solid wealth creation plan if you're not paying yourself first. That's very important. You cannot create a wealth creation plan. You will not become financially secure if you do not have a savings, if you do not have an emergency fund. And an emergency fund is 9 to 12 months of your total household expenses saved away. So if an emergency occurs, and it's not if, it's when emergency occurs, because no matter who you are, what your situation is, an emergency is going to happen. I tell my clients all the time, I work with people all across the country. I've had the opportunity to serve thousands of people, in regards to financial services and financial planning. And you have to understand that you will not achieve financial success. You will not achieve financial freedom if you are not operating an emergency fund, if you do not have a savings plan in order. So this is critical. You cannot move forward with the wealth creation plan. It's not going to be attainable if you do not pay yourself first. Our second wealth creation tip is about controlling your expenditures. So this is about your spending plan, your spending assessment, not spending on things that you necessarily want all the time, starting with the things that you need. It's okay to have enjoyment out of life, and you do want to make sure that you are celebrating small wins and successes, but you have to do that with control. You have to control your expenditures and live within your means. And sometimes it's difficult for us to do. If you're not operating in a budget, a solid budget, or if you don't have a solid money management system, if you don't have a solid banking tool that you're utilizing, it's going to be hard to control your expenditures, but you have to, again, control.